Let's go, girls. Come on.
From New York City to Los Angeles, Powered Up with Beck and Franklin is giving women of all ages permission to live the life they've always dreamed of. Why live in black and white when you can choose the brilliance of 3D and Technicolor? Each week, Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin and their high-powered guests will be here to cheer you on, to share their challenges, their successes, and what they've learned along the way. It's all about women supporting women. The stories and practical tips on sex, beauty, money, and so much more are designed to help you reconnect to the powerful woman you are. Fabulous knows no limits. Now it's time for you to expand your boundaries. Here are Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin.
Hey ladies, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Jackie Silver, who is filling in for an ailing, I guess she's not feeling well, Linda Franklin, and we want to send the biggest, warmest, wonderful message out there for her speedy recovery. And we want to thank Jackie Silver of Aging Backwards for pitching in, coming on the show, being my fabulous co-host, because we are going to have so much fun today. Welcome, Jackie.
Well, thank you so much for asking me to co-host. I'm super excited about our guest today.
Me too. And you know, I love that you're from New York City. I love that you totally get our guest today.
Well, you know what? I just love anything that has to do with health and peace and seeking serenity. And that's exactly what our guest is all about.
You know, it's so important that you say that because, you know, by the time you get, and I'm going to say our age, like not like it's a bad thing, but, you know, we've had our heart, you know, gone through the great minder a few times. We've had, you know, things happen to us in our lives, you know, loss of pets, loss of family, loss of friends. And yet we are still rolling. We are still fabulous. We are still fun and happy. And, you know, these different tools that are out there, and this, you know, in this case, we have guests from Teamotions, which is a tea company. We have all these options beyond the traditional talk therapy and drug therapy, and I just love that they're available for everybody.
Well, I love that too, and I also love that you touched on the fact that everyone, by the time they get to a certain age, and honey, I'm a lot older than you, even though I don't look, you know, everyone knows I still get asked for ID to buy wine, people who know me. But talking about how we all go through stuff, you know, you get past a certain age and you all go through heartache and happiness and all of the gamut in between, because that's what life is all about. But when you say we come out the other end and we're still happy, is because, you know what, happiness is a choice. And that's not me saying that. All of the experts say the same thing. You can choose to be happy, and we choose to be happy.
We do, and I do every day, because it really, really is as easy. And, you know, I know when you're full of emotion, it's not as easy, but when you're starting to get like to the other side of things, you can really choose your thoughts. And I want to just tell you, when I was at the Grand Canyon 2, maybe 3 years ago, I went there by myself. I hiked the rim. I wasn't going to jump in. I just really needed to get my head together. And I thought, what a great place to see my place in the universe, but to look at like eons worth of, you know, river carvings down 5 miles. And I was sitting there, Jackie, and this busload of divorcees got out, and it was this big retreat. And, you know, all they talked about is my ex-husband cheated on me, my ex-husband stole from me, and this and this and that. And I sat there thinking, I don't want to be these people, not to judge them, but this isn't going to work for me. And I'm not going to embrace all these negative things that happen to me. I'm going to look and go, I'm free. I get a do-over. I get like the chance to go to bat again, and I'm going to make it count. And it was a choice.
Well, not only that, but what's so amazing about that story to me is that here they were, surrounded by nature, by one of the most incredible creations of nature in the world, and they weren't even seeing it because they were so immersed in their negativity and their and they're complaining. And you know what? We've all been through those things. We've all been through a lot, but I don't know how someone can be surrounded. I've never been to the Grand Canyon. I've seen it from the air, but I have a feeling that if I got there, I would probably be rendered speechless.
Well, I was, but this group, you could have been at the Grand Canyon or the soup aisle at Walmart, for all they got out of it. But, again, that was a choice. Like, what do we choose to talk about? What do we choose to focus on? What do we choose to remember? I have this thing, and it's not all denial, but it's like, if I choose not to remember something, it kind of didn't happen. Because if I walk this earth thinking about all the bad things that happened to me, or if I selectively forget it, I am actually a different person that wakes up in the morning when I choose to forget these things and not put them in the top of my mind. I can get on with my day. I can create, I can do and have fun. But if I stay mired in the past, Jackie, I'm dead in the water.
Well, exactly. And I know some people who, and you read about this all the time, but I actually know some people in my very personal inner circle that are like this. And that is that they say they wouldn't even change what happened to them because they wouldn't be the person they are today.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wouldn't wish the last 5 years that I had on anyone. I truly wouldn't. But I will tell you, I'm just going to say this is so goofy, but I'm so much more fabulous today. I didn't know what I didn't know. I went through fire. I came out. You think of a diamond and it's got to be all squashed and sat on and smushed in order for it to become brilliant. And that's what I did. I got sat on, I got smushed, and now I'm brilliant.
I love the way you say that. I'm like, wait a minute. Diamonds have to be sat on.
But it's like the compression of the earth, geology.
I understand. I'm just laughing because you're so adorable.
Well, but it's how you frame it. It's like I could say, like, we giggle and say, yeah, I got squashed and sat on and I came out better. Or I could be like, well, I went through a death and a divorce and a foreclosure and a financial ruin. And, just those words alone, I can feel my heart starting to sink. But if I say I got sat on and came out better, hey, I mean, what's the difference? Just some words, but a whole different feeling.
Right. And then you can just relax into it. And here's another little tip. As long as we're talking about happiness and getting through things, did you know that studies show that if you fake a smile, you can actually make yourself happier?
Oh, I love that. I really, like, if I just walk around with my big shit-eating grin, I'll feel better?
Wait a minute. Are we allowed to say those words on the air?
Oh, yeah, it's internet radio. That's why I'm no longer on the motherhood show.
But no, it's true. If you even fake a smile, you can actually make yourself happier. And you know what else is amazing is when you smile at other people, you can make them happier. And isn't that a great feeling too? Because in the end, it's not just all about us.
Well, I was just thinking about you and me and becoming friends. And one of the things, you're right. It's like you smile. I smiled, I laughed, you laughed. We talked about intensely intimate things in our first conversation. Of course, it had to do with men because that's what we do. But, yes, it's like that laughter. And, I've got a lot of reasons to be sad. I'm sure you've got a lot of reasons to be sad. But when we both came to the dinner table, we brought, like, not our best game, we brought our game, who I am, who you are, but with the frame of reference that, is smile and laugh, and we will get through it. And I think that's like when you meet soul sisters.
You know what? That's exactly what I felt like the minute this is kind of weird, but the minute I ever heard your name, Sandra Beck, I was like, wow, do I know her? I felt like we had this kind of aura connection even before we ever connected. Just hearing your name, I just felt like there was something going on there. And I know that sounds kind of woo-woo, but I am sensitive to energy in the world, and I just feel like we were meant to meet.
Well, that's good, because that means I didn't choke you or stab you in a past life.
Or maybe you did and I forgave you.
That's true, and now I'm coming to you. Please, I'm so sorry I swung you from a tree and called you a witch.
Okay, you owe me.
I do. I owe you big time, Jackie. I'm karmically here to pay my sins and just but you know what? It's fun. And life is too short to be sad. And that was another, like when you talked about the choice thing, I really truly did get up one day and say, I'm tired of being sad.
Oh yeah, I totally get that because believe me, I've been in the same place. And in fact, one of the things we're going to talk to our guest about, when we talk about their tea, I have a story about that, and I'll wait until they're on with us.
Great. Because I want to tell you really quickly. This summer, I buried my mom this past summer, and my mom was my best friend, and I talked to her every day, and she put up with every stupid thought in my head. She was just the best mother ever. And I sat on her grave, and actually, she was buried 2 years ago because last year I fell in her grave. This year I sat on it, and I said to her, Mom, I'm so tired of being sad. And I felt like her hand take my chin and push it from my head to the left to the right. And she said, I didn't raise you to be this way. And that's what I heard in my head. And I took that, like turning my head from the left to the right was stop looking back and start looking forward. And that was huge. And you can call me dopey and goofy and, airy-fairy and all these things. But the fact of the matter is my life changed that day because I changed my thinking.
Well, no, and I don't find that to be airy-fairy because I'm really a proponent of all of those things and the energy in the world and in making your choices. And, we all have something we could be depressed and sad and angry about, but we have to work on ourselves because we have no control over other people.
Absolutely. And we have no control over the things that happen to us. I mean, there's things that happen, people die, pets die, husbands leave, wives cheat, people take money, there's just all these things that we can't control, but we can control how we react to it. And we can make good choices. We can choose tea instead of pot. I mean, we can choose, tea instead of a lot of self-destructive things. And that's why I'm so excited for Teamotions to come on and Rachel Crawford. So we are Jackie Silver and I for today, Powered Up Talk Radio. Jackie's handling the New York feed. I'm handling the Los Angeles feed. And from coast to coast, we've got you covered. And when we come back from the break, you're going to totally want to stay with us because this is super cool. We've got Teamotions. They are teas that are able to affect our mood. They make us healthier. I'm sure they can make us beautiful, younger, and thinner. They just are so exciting, and I can't wait to share this with you, Jackie. Teamotions, Rachel Crawford, please come back from the break and learn how to be thinner, fat, fabulous, happier, all those good things that tea can bring.
We've got lots more Powered Up with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin after these messages.
Join us every Monday at 10 a.m. Central for the Johnny Rowland News, Guns, and Motorsports radio show with commentary about current events, guns, shooting, and firearms issues, automotive and motorsports features, and special music presentations. Johnny is recognized as an international firearms authority and ballistic engineer, as well as an accomplished and widely recognized automotive designer and longtime TV and radio host. This program draws on Johnny's experience in shooting, motorsports, and as a professional entertainer musician. Don't miss Johnny Rowland News, Guns, and Motorsports. Infotainment at its best. Trust us on this one. It's a fun show. Every Monday morning at 10 a.m. Central, right here on the TogiNet Radio Network.
What does success mean to you? Money? Power? Fame? Having everything money can buy? Does it mean having a job or career that you love? A great family life? Or simply to be happy? If you're still searching for answers, then join us each Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern for Primetime Success Radio, where Alan Skidmore and his special guests will discuss health, finances, relationships, being in business, and how you can have a life that is not only successful, but a life of meaning. Alan has been studying success principles for over 25 years through reading, attending seminars, interviewing successful people, and a daily lesson from the School of Hard Knocks. And now he wants to share that information with you. So join Alan Skidmore on Primetime Success Radio every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, right here on the Rockstar Radio Network, as he takes you on a journey of finding the heart of your success.
We're back with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin. Here's more Powered Up with Beck and Franklin. Hey ladies, this is Sandra Beck and I'm here today with my very good friend Jackie Silver, who is filling in for Linda Franklin, and we're sending well wishes out to Linda. And we've got such a cool topic today. We've got Teamotions coming on with Rachel Crawford, and we're going to talk about, what were those things, Jackie? The Ayurvedic or Air Special, I don't know what they were.
It's the adaptogens, which we'll let Rachel explain.
Adaptogens.
But yeah, that I related that to Ayurvedic medicine because it uses adaptogens, and it's such a fascinating topic, and I can't wait to hear Rachel's explanation of it. And that's what we need to do, is send Linda Franklin some Teamotions tea.
We do. We need to get a big tea party going on up in what is she, in Upper or Midtown Manhattan? I forget where she is.
I think she's in Chelsea. She's in the cute area of town.
Mm-hmm. Fancy. All right. Well, you know what? Let's bring on Rachel Crawford. Rachel, can you hear us?
Yep, I'm here. I'm listening.
There she is.
Can you talk?
We are so happy to have
Sorry.
you here today. No worries. I just want to let you know we have Jackie Silver as our co-host today.
I've been listening in, so I'm aware.
Oh, good.
And I'm excited.
Oh, good. Because otherwise we'd have Jackie pretend she's Linda and see if we can fool the guest. So, Rachel, go ahead and tell us about your company, because I think it's really cool.
Well, we started our company about 2.5 years ago, and we offer a line of teas that are blended with emotional well-being ingredients like adaptogens to foster emotional well-being and stress support. So we really wanted to sort of carve out a niche in the tea industry that shows that the foods that we consume and the herbs that exist out there are not just for our physical well-being, but they also have emotional wellness components. And so we're sort of kind of combining the best of both worlds. So you can look great and feel great at the same time.
Rachel, can you explain for the listeners who don't know what adaptogens are? Because it's so fascinating how it actually works.
It is, and adaptogens are these remarkable herbs that actually have a ton of scientific evidence behind them, and they've been used in other countries around the world for thousands of years. So they seem new to us, but they're actually not new at all. But what they are is a special kind of herb that works to restore any imbalance in the body. So they're almost instinctual, sort of intuitive herbs that you don't have to worry about dosing requirements. You don't have to worry about, taking too much or too little. All they're doing is either helping to bring you into balance or helping you to maintain balance. So they provide unique benefits to each of us as individuals because obviously our natural imbalances differ. No two person is alike. So these herbs just provide emotional support, stress support. They help restore homeostasis. They help your body cope with and respond to stress. They boost immunity. They help counter the effects of stress and aging. They're just really remarkable substances.
Now, that's interesting that you talk about like aging and about stress, and I think about what I looked like 2 years ago, which was the height of my stress. And I swear I looked 20 years older. I was 20 pounds heavier, and my skin was gray, and I just looked terrible. And just the process of tea. Like, I just want to start talking a little bit about that. Like, tea isn't something you can hurry. It's like you've got to get your cup out, you got to brew it, you got to heat the water. It's not a speed freak thing. It's not like you pop it out of van and go on your way. It really forces you to slow down. So can we talk a little bit about the importance of the tea process, even before we get to the tea bag?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, well, part of our vision as a company is we wanted to blend the ritual of tea with the medicinal property of these amazing adaptogen herbs, because you cannot have emotional well-being and just chug something down like a medicine, nor did we want to create some gimmick, some magical powers in just some liquid that was comforting to drink hot. Like, we wanted the benefit of both worlds. But the power in the ritual cannot be understated. When you stop yourself, whether it's for 5 minutes to brew a cup of tea, that 5 minutes can literally transform your perspective. It can transform how you feel. It makes you actually stop for 5 minutes in our day, which I know sounds so profound, but for many of us, that's a miracle that we actually stop and stand still for 5 minutes waiting for some tea to brew. And we can check in with ourselves. And it's that checking in moment that is the catalyst to all the well-being that follows. Most of us go throughout our day never even asking ourselves, how do I feel? What do I need? Am I okay? And a simple cup of tea can sometimes be that initial starting point of that process of actually checking in and figuring out what it is, how it is that we actually feel. So then we can formulate a plan so that we can figure out how to get what it is that we need.
Rachel, this is Jackie. And I want to tell you that I actually, I had some difficulties a couple of years ago, and an Indian doctor friend of mine put me on some Ayurvedic adaptogens. And literally, I credit that with saving my life at that point. And the thing that makes me so excited about your product is putting it in tea, because I had to actually choke down 12 capsules a day. And I did it, but I didn't like it. And to put it in tea is so brilliant. I'm just applaud you on that 100%.
Right. Well, sometimes when we're really, have our backs up against the wall, we need that intense, sort of like taking capsules and pounding supplements. But as far as just an everyday approach to taking care of ourselves and well-being, tea is perfect because it's enjoyable, it's delicious, it's easy, it's cost-effective, and it truly works. And I often talk to women, and for busy women, the thought of adding anything else to their life is overwhelming. So when you say, you need to meditate, you need to stop, you need to have more me time, you need to exercise more, you need to do this, even though all of those things are hugely important and beneficial, I instantly see them glaze over because they think, really, with what time? I'm going to fit one more thing in my already overwhelming schedule. And so they won't even listen. And I thought, if I could create a product that you can integrate into your life to take better care of yourself without having to take anything away from anything else you're doing, that maybe women would be on board. They can drink the tea while they drive. They can drink the tea while they work on homework with their kids. They can drink the tea while they're checking their emails. They can pretty much inject the tea into any situation in their life without having to pull time or energy away from anything else. I think that's
well. And I want to throw in there.
I'm
going to just go all country girl on you guys, because we've got our New York City girl and Jackie, and you're obviously well versed in all this tea stuff. So I'm just going to go the country girl route and tell you, when I was a little girl, my mom would always have tea and toast when she wasn't feeling well, when she was stressed, when she was whatever was going on in her life. And I thought about what you were saying about how important it is and how it can fit in your life, and not to be gross, but it's like when you're sick, tea and toast is really good. And I don't know anybody who throws up tea and toast. Like, there's got to be something in that tea that just, you know what I mean? Like, you think of all the stuff, my kids throw up medicine all the time. It's like, if I could give them a cup of tea and they could be happy. I mean, and I do actually, I give them chamomile, I give them whatever, to calm them down. And you're right, there's something magical that clearly, people have known for thousands of years, but because I don't think you can, market it and brand it in the pharmaceutical company, it probably just sits there like a dog. There, now I'll get nasty letters from
Right.
Pfizer.
Well, and the truth is, it seems Yeah, it seems magical, but the truth is, the science supports that there's actually, like take chamomile, for example. We do have a tea called Enjoy Rest that's a chamomile and ashwagandha-based tea, and it's to help you wind down and help you rest and sleep. But, chamomile has scientifically proven properties in it that are able to, for example, relax your intestines and your stomach lining. So if you're, feeling sick and queasy and not so good, when you take chamomile, it can actually help your stomach feel better. And I think, we have science that proves it now, but I think instinctually for thousands of years, people just saw that it works. They knew when they took it, they felt better. When they gave it to someone who was ill, they felt better. And so that experience was passed down. And I don't know what's happened to our culture where we have to have scientific proof in order to believe something anymore. I think we really need to work hard to get back to our instincts and listen to our bodies and believe people's experiences when they say, oh, I took that and it helped me. God forbid, we don't have a scientific study to prove it. But the good thing is we do have science that shows that our instincts are correct all along and these things really are effective. And it's not just chamomile. There's many, many herbs and botanicals, whether they're adaptogen herbs or other kinds of herbs, that have these phenomenal effects on us without the side effects and the complications of some sort of pharmaceutical things or other avenues, so it makes them so easy to integrate into our daily lives. And it's what you do every day is what adds up to you being well or unwell. It's not what you do every once in a while. And so it's that ritual that you're also reminding yourself, like, this is a beneficial ritual, not a hurtful one, full of truly beneficial herbs and botanicals that accumulate over time. They have this synergistic effect to make you well, to lift your mood, to support your stress response, to make you more beautiful, to help you lose weight. They're just constantly supporting you in every single way without taking away something else that you need to do in your life. I don't really know of any better stress support than that.
Well, you know what, Rachel, I love earlier you mentioned one of the names of your teas, and I want to point out to people that your teas have the most lovely names besides all the wonderful, reasons to do them, but achieve clarity and discover joy and seek peace and have hope. And we're going to come back in a few minutes and talk about that. But right now we need to take a little break, but it's so great to have you here.
What's your website?
Thank you.
What's your website?
Teamotionstea.com.
Like, can you spell that?
Teamotionstea.com.
So it's like Teamotions, but no E.
Yeah, exactly. Teamotionstea.com.
Got it. Okay, well, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Jackie Silver, filling in for Linda Franklin today. When we come back from the break, we're going to talk more about how we can become more beautiful, healthy, successful, rich, and fabulous through the use of tea. Yep, that's it. Cup of tea and toast. Check it out.
We've got lots more Powered Up with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin after these messages.
This is for all you girls about 42. Tossing pennies into the fountain of youth.
Are you the kind of parent who just wants their kids to live the life of their dreams? Well, grab your kids and join How to Raise a Millionaire Radio with Ann Morgan James and Jack James. It's a lively interview and call-in show, Thursdays, 6 p.m. Central on the Rockstar Radio Network. This dynamic mother and son team are on a mission. They want to empower kids to dream big and go after those dreams with gusto. They want to fill the world with kid entrepreneurs. Are your kids ready for success? Don't miss their fun antics, lively guests, and discussions. For more on Ann and Jack and their show, check out their website, howtoraiseamillionaire.com. Then join the conversation of lively interviews and call-ins. And let's give our kids the tools and encouragements they need to build a future they can bank on, no matter what the economy throws their way. It's How to Raise a Millionaire Radio with Ann Morgan James and Jack James. Thursdays, 6 p.m. Central on the Rockstar Radio Network. Get the competitive edge and take your success to the next level. with the Gold Medal Success Show and your host, Forrest Fisher, 6-time U.S. National Gold Medalist. Tune in every Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Central, 6 Pacific here on the Rockstar Radio Network as Forrest gives you access into the mindset of true champions and helps you apply these success principles to your life and business for immediate results. Each show will feature guest athletes and business experts who have achieved tremendous success and are ready to share their stories of struggle, glory, tragedy, and triumph, revealing tips and strategies Forrest and these guest experts use to propel themselves to world-class success. Many people live their whole lives wanting more. The Gold Medal Success Show will demonstrate that anyone can have a more fulfilling and satisfying life when they put a few basic principles into play. Make every day game day with the Gold Medal Success Show each Thursday morning at 8 a.m. Central here on the Rockstar Radio Network.
We're back with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin. Here's some more Powered Up with Beck and Franklin.
This is for all you girls about 42.
Hey, ladies. I love that because I'm 42. At least I'm 42 for today. How does that sound?
And I do everything backwards, so I'm 24.
That's right. That's right, because you're aging backwards. That means if you're older than me, you're really younger than me. But I want to comment really quick about something that Rachel said in the earlier segments. And for those of you that missed the earlier part of our show, you can pick up Powered Up Talk Radio on iTunes. There's, 50 or so hours of great, fantastic, wonderful women empowerment programming that include our guest co-host today, Jackie Silver of Aging Backwards. You can also find us on TogiNet.com, our host station out of Texas, and you can go to our website, powereduptalkradio.com. Our guest, Rachel, is the owner of a company called Teamotions that provides teas that help us be the best we can be, both physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And, I had made a comment before we went to commercial break, Jackie, that, that we could become richer. And I will tell you that there's like this cycle that I think all women go through, that if we feel happy, we get out and interact, then we meet people like this delicious guy I'm dating, or you, Jackie Silver, who I met through this show. Then we make business, we make more money. We go out, get good hair, good nails, great shoes, and then we cycle back to happy again.
Exactly. You know what? That's what life is all about. It's those cycles, and it's about picking yourself up and doing what you can do for yourself to move forward. Even though I'm aging backwards, I'm always moving forward.
Oh, I love that. We better talk to our guests, don't you think?
Yeah.
Oh, Rachel, I know we're just having some fun with you. I would like to ask you about, how did you come up with this idea? Like, you just don't wake up one day and go, I am going to own a tea company.
No, you don't. And, it's a little bit of a sad story, but it's a very real story. And I think there's a lot of women out there who can relate. But in 2008, I had twin baby daughters that passed away a couple of weeks after they were born. And I was a sad, grieving mom, and I was searching for things for myself. How was I going to get through this? I had a 2.5-year-old son at the time who needed a mommy, a whole mommy. And I was young. I was 28 years old, and I saw a lot of life ahead of me, and I remember sort of making that decision. I didn't know how I was going to get through it, but I knew I wanted to get through it. I wanted to heal, and it felt overwhelming, but I made the decision to fight for it. And as I started searching for what would help me, what sort of support was out there for me, to be honest, I was sort of disappointed at what I found. There wasn't a lot. So I thought, I cannot be the only woman out there who needs this. I can't be the only person out there who needs this. So I decided to fill that void and create it myself. So we created a line of teas that support emotional well-being and stress for that reason, for people who need that little, like you said, we're constantly cycling through these different places. And what happens in the meantime, like between not so good and good? Like we know we're going to get there, but what do we do in that meantime until we're good? And that's where I wanted my tea to come in, to empower people to take control of maybe they can't control their circumstances or their situation, but they can control how they respond to it. And if you put good tools in their hands, if you equip them with the ability to be empowered and to choose healing, they will choose it every time and they will succeed. And that's what I wanted from my company.
Exactly what you're saying. But you know what? One of the things I want to expound on that you just said is talking about making choices. How do people pick the tea that is right for them? Because you have so many amazing different ones. Like, do you pick the peace one day, and do you pick the sleep one another, the relaxing one another day? What do you recommend?
Yeah, most of the time people drink more than one tea in a day. I usually recommend 3 cups of tea, and that can be all from the same tea or, different cups of tea. But in a perfect world, I like people to own all 6 of the teas so that they can put them in their, on their countertop or in their pantry, and then when they open up and look at them, they let their gut talk to them about what tea is best for them. They check in with themselves and they ask, what do I need? Do I need to seek peace or discover joy or have hope or find strength or achieve clarity or enjoy rest? Discover joy. And then they they check in and they let their almost instinct make that choice, and they pull a tea off the shelf and they make themselves a cup.
Okay, I'm going to make a recommendation for a tea number 7. Tea number 7 is going to be My Life is a Disaster tea, and it'll just be all the tea bags like combined together, and we'll just be one big pot, because I don't even I'm serious. When I look back to years ago, Jackie and Rachel, I don't know if I could have the emotional bandwidth or the mental acuity to choose out of 7. I just need the disaster tea, please.
No, when I was at sort of the worst of my grief, we had a running joke, me and my sister. She would ask me, is this a 10-cup tea day or a 1 cup of tea day? Because that was how I could gauge. If I was just cup after cup of tea, I knew I was having a hard time. But then I'd sort of have some better days, and I'd only need 1 or 2 cups of tea a day to get me through. But I think that's okay, and that's another reason why adaptogen herbs are incredibly safe herbs, and that's why we use them in the teas, because I did not want people to be preoccupied with, am I drinking too much? Am I not drinking enough? Like, you can just let your gut lead you. You can just let your feelings guide you, so to speak, and drink as much tea as you think you need without worrying about side effects or complications or issues or problems. And it's funny, too, because I get emails all the time, and people at first will say, oh, I love this tea, it's my favorite. I don't really care for this other one. And then within 6 weeks, this other one is all they want, the one that they didn't care for originally, and the one that they were loving, they've sort of, moved to the side for a little while. And I think it goes to show us how our bodies really do respond. They really do tell us what they want and what they need. And if we listen to that, it can be very empowering.
Right. Rachel, this is Jackie again. So now I have a 2-part question, and that is, number 1, where do you get the adaptogens? And secondly, do some of the teas taste weird that people don't want to drink them, or are they, pretty tasty?
Oh, no, I worked incredibly hard to make them so delicious. I mean, I would guarantee that they are more delicious than the teas that you're currently drinking that you get at the grocery store. They're phenomenal. And I used all organic, natural flavorings. There's nothing synthetic, no chemicals, no sugar. I mean, they don't even have any calories in them. They're phenomenally tasting. Our Enjoy Rest tea won first place at the North American Tea Competition in 2010. So we have, awards behind us proving how delicious our teas are. And then I source my ingredients from all over the world, and I go through a blender in Los Angeles now. So I don't have to, source things myself. I get them all through him. But we have herbs that come from India, China, South America, the United States. We get them wherever we can find the best. We source small batch. Wherever we can find the best, that's where we get them.
Where do you even begin to start this stuff? Like, to me, I walk in the garden, snip some rosemary, snip some oregano, and throw it in a pot and boil it, and you're like, woo, look, I'm a tea maker. I mean, how do you do this? Like, what's the background for this? I mean, how do you know where to buy things? I mean, I'm just curious about the business aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, it took a lot of Yeah, it took a lot of research. I was raised in Southern California. Whoop, whoop, love Southern California. So I already had a lot of experience with holistic approaches in health and medicine. So I was exposed to herbs and teas and, vitamins and alternative medicine. So that world was not foreign to me, so I was able to sort of jump in with both feet. But I consulted with any doctor, naturopath, or biologist, who would listen to me. I read every book I could get my hands on. But basically what I originally did is I created one tea for each stage of the grieving process. And then I researched what herbs would help with that particular thing. Like, for example, we have a tea called Seek Peace, and it's specifically for the anger phase of grief. So I needed herbs that help to release pent-up emotions and help release anger, sort of help squelch that, like, inner fire. And so I learned through my research that liver support herbs do that, so dandelion and milk thistle. So I blended those herbs. That was my base with those herbs, but those herbs are actually quite bitter tasting, so it needed a nice, strong flavor profile to cover up that bitter flavor to make it enjoyable to drink. So I chose a coconut chai, but I used red rooibos because it's caffeine-free, because I didn't want any stimulants. I didn't think it was right to be stimulating yourself if you're trying to release pent-up emotions. So it was just sort of an evolution, like depending on what the herbs were and how they tasted, depended on what sort of flavor profile I concocted. And the only reason I know how to do that is because I love eating food, and so I just decided what things taste good together and experimented. It took us an entire year to get all 6 blends right. So it didn't happen overnight. We worked very hard, but we love them. So they're good. They're really, really good.
So Rachel, what was the learning curve? I mean, you said you worked really hard, but how does someone who has no experience in this ramp up to the place where you're at now? Because I'm so impressed with you right now. I'm freaking out how amazing it is what you've done.
We're in the company of greatness.
Well, thank you. Well, yeah. Well, I also, I have an amazing business partner. My youngest sister, Crystal, is a phenomenal business partner, and I had her there to help me and consult, and we brainstormed together. And then I would just strategically partnered with people who really believed in my vision. And my blender, his name is Steve Schwartz. He's runs a company called Art of Tea in LA. Is a phenomenal human being who runs an amazing company, and he partnered with us early on, really, truly believed in what we were doing and was behind us. And, our marketing company, their company's name is Motto, and they're out of Myrtle Beach. And the way that they branded us and helped us bring our message to life. And we just made some very strategic partnerships. And I've never been afraid to ask for help. And I've never been afraid to admit what I'm not good at. But at the same time, I know what I am good at, and I embraced it, and I ran with it. And it was sort of that, all of those forces working together made, because I was a woman on a mission, and this is my daughter's legacy. They're not here to, live their own lives and speak for themselves, but they mattered, and they made an impact. They changed my life completely, and I wanted that to be represented in a beneficial, healthy way, and Teamotions is that way. So just amazing people that we've come in contact with who have just helped carry us through those kind of rocky places where I didn't know how to navigate. I don't know how to do this.
Wonderful. I've got to take us to commercial break. We are visiting with Teamotions, Rachel Crawford. When we come back from the break, you're going to want to find out what we're going to talk about next.
We've got lots more Powered Up with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin after these messages.
Get ready to learn and play with Mrs. A, your host, Barbara Allison, Mondays at 11 a.m. Central on the Rockstar Radio Network. Did you know that kids are only 20% of the population, but they are 100% of the future? How are you preparing your child for that future? The years between the ages of 0 and 6 are crucial for learning and development. Barbara Allison is a teacher, parent, and author on supporting children's early learning. Learning starts even before a child is born, and parents are children's first teacher. Join Mrs. A for ideas, tips, and suggestions for fun learning and play activities as she helps you support your child. Starting early is starting smart. For more on Mrs. A, her books, the show, and her blog, check out her website, 123kindergarten.com. Then, Come learn and play with Mrs. A with your host, Barbara Allison, Mondays at 11 a.m. Central on the Rockstar Radio Network. Have you been laid off, fired, downsized, right-sized, or re-engineered out of a job? Are you unemployed or anticipate that possibility? Then tune in for Successfully Unemployed, hosted by Alan Sherwood, MBA, president of Sherwood Consulting Service. Successfully Unemployed will provide you a hope-filled and comprehensive approach to the job search process from an author who's experienced it all. Alan and his guests will cover all dimensions of a job search: physical tasks, mental attitude, emotional health, even one's spiritual perspective. All must be integrated in order for a person to be successfully unemployed so they can then be successfully employed. This show is designed to help you move forward from job loss to finding or creating more fulfilling work. For more on Alan Sherwood, MBA, and the show, check out his website, successfullyunemployed.com. Then join us for Successfully Unemployed with Alan Sherwood, MBA. Thursday nights at 8, 7 Central here on TogiNet.com.
We're back with Sandra Beck and Linda Franklin. Here's more Powered Up with Beck and Franklin.
Hey, ladies, this is Sandra Beck, and I'm here with Jackie Silver filling in for Linda Franklin. And from coast to coast, we've got you covered on everything from money, sex, beauty, and love. And today we are talking about emotions. We're talking about Teamotions and how our state of mind affects us and the other alternative tools that we have at our disposal. I want to make it very clear that Teamotions has not paid for a promotional spot on our site. Or on our website, or on our show. But it's really important that we have options as women, especially for somebody like me that I'm always seeking alternatives. You know, it's like, yeah, I will take an Ativan if I'm really swinging out. You know, I'm a single mom, 2 kids. I run a company. I'm on a couple of radio shows. I cannot afford to wig out and flip out and trip out. So, yeah, I will do that. But my first course is always, what can I do nutritionally to help my body do what I need to do? Because I'm not going to pour a gallon of nail polish into my car and expect it to get me to Los Angeles. So why would I dump crap in my body first? I'd go the natural route. And Jackie, you talked a little bit earlier in the show about the natural route. I want to hear your thoughts about, about Teamotions and these type of products.
Well, you know, exactly. When I talk about anti-aging or just staying healthy and wellness, I always say you want to try the most natural thing first. People always ask me about plastic surgery, and I'm like, you know, would you go from being an infant crawling to driving a car? No, you would crawl, then you would stand up, then you would walk, and then you'd grow up, and then you'd drive a car. So you don't have to go from zero to plastic surgery if you're thinking about anti-aging, right? So we talk about more natural things all the time. And, you know, you mentioned earlier about anti-aging with the tea, and tea itself is already such an anti-aging tip. So, Rachel, can you tell us like a little bit more about the adaptogens that might really lead to anti-aging?
Sure. Well, all adaptogens will. That's what's so amazing about them. Because they're always seeking to restore balance to the body, they're not only going to balance, your emotions, but they help to balance your hormones, your endocrine system. They restore balance and strength to the adrenals. And aging shows up on us when our bodies are exhausted and kaput. But the more support we give them, the more we can eliminate that constant draining stress, because we always have stress. We can never get rid of it, but we can do everything in our power to increase our body's ability to manage that stress. So adaptogen herbs help manage that stress, thus showing up on our faces and our figures, less wrinkles, less fat, less cellulite, because we're in balance, and that's the key. You don't want to swing the pendulum too far in either way. So if you're looking for aging support, weight loss support, the best thing you can do is try to put more balance in your life. Balance in what you eat, balance in the tea you drink, balance in the way that you relate, whether it's work. I mean, we all know that our life always flies out of control when it's imbalanced, when we're too extreme over here and then over here is not getting any attention. So adaptogen herbs internally restore balance, but the ritual of the tea helps to emotionally and externally put back in perspective the balance you need in your life.
Balance is such a hot topic for me because I'm in a chronic state of imbalance. Like, I have elder care issues. My dad's 80, just had surgery today, flying around. My kids are, one's got a skin knee, the other one's got a math test tomorrow, and then there's me with, oh my God, there's another wrinkle. And, I have this 80-20 rule, girls, that I want to share with you that tea, I think, will really help. Like when I get ready for a date, Jackie and Rachel, I have an 80-20 rule. It's the Pareto principle. If I do 80% of the things right, it's a good day or a good date. And I, shoes, pants, hair, nails, face, and today I blew my hand, so I had to sit on them the whole time because I didn't get my nails done. But all that stuff it's so much to balance. And to be able to sit down for 5 minutes with a cup of tea and just let all the dust settle, I think that's what I need.
Exactly. And to say, I'm okay. It's okay. You're not Superwoman. It's not your job to make everything perfect and keep everything working. You're one human being. And to give yourself permission to sit down for 5 minutes and say, you did a good job today. And it doesn't mean that life's perfect and it's exactly what you want, but you're okay. You're doing the best that you can do. That's all you can expect of yourself. And it's okay to reward yourself with a little bit of support and downtime, whether you call a friend, sit with yourself and just relax, simply reward yourself with, a nutritious, beneficial, delicious cup of tea. Whatever it is not the point. Like, you're giving the action of the tea is symbolic of you giving yourself permission to be an imperfect person, and that's still perfectly okay. You're still worthy, you're still well, you're still accomplishing things. We don't do that enough as women. We're just holding it all together at the expense of ourselves. And sometimes we just need a cup of tea to remind us that we're okay.
Exactly. And you know what? I love that you talk about, just taking those few minutes out for ourselves, because as women, typically we're just such givers all the time. We're always giving to everyone and doing for everyone. Sandra, you with all your responsibilities, I don't even know how you get through the day sometimes, but I think it's such a lovely idea to just sit down and have a cup of tea for yourself and know that you're doing something good for yourself besides the fact that you're relaxing. Then you've got the added benefit of the adaptogens and all of the wonderfulness of the Teamotion teas. And before we run out of time, I want Rachel to talk about her teas for charity, because that's something we haven't talked about yet, and I just love a win-win.
Yes, I like the win-win-win-win. No, we created 3 teas that specifically address the emotional needs of our military and their families. They're called Honor, Courage, and Commitment. And we donate 5% of the retail sales of those 3 teas to organizations that support the healing and rehabilitation of our wounded. So we are really proud to support our military as a company. I am a military spouse. My husband's pilot in the Marine Corps. That's part of my world. And we just wanted to acknowledge the unique emotional needs and do something to serve back.
I love that. I love that because, my sister's show, Rachel, and Rachel was on it, and Jackie, Rachel was on it last week. Military Mom Talk Radio is near and dear to my heart. And, I just think that the military family especially has so many different conditions and experiences outside the norm that I just think your tea should be given like in MREs. Like we just make MREs and, those can go to all our servicemen and women, and then the commissary can carry it. And just, I think it's so important what you do. I love companies that give back. I think it's so important. And I think charity is a big key in keeping us young. What do you think, Jackie?
Oh, absolutely. Studies show that people who volunteer on a regular basis are the healthiest and live the longest. So, whether it's volunteering or it's taking time out to donate to a charity, I mean, when they talk about that, they mean one-on-one. But listen, there's never anything negative about donating if you don't have time to volunteer. So I just love the whole charity aspect. And I really applaud you, Rachel, for doing that. And I love your idea, Sandra, about getting the teas into the military bases. And I think we've got to figure out a way to make that happen.
We do. Rachel, we're just going to take over your company now because we're radio hosts and we're qualified to do that. I know. I
It's
like to
nice to
stump
be
our
encouraged,
guests.
so the validation goes a long way.
What's been the best part of creating your tea line?
Is all the people that come up to us and say thank you and ask us where we were 5 years ago. Like, there's just, you can just see the relief on their face. And I just did an event in Orange County this past weekend. It was a memorial event, and people kept coming by our booth saying, "Oh, I've got that one, and I've got that one. You know, thank you for what you've done." And at the end of the day, I think that's all that really matters to me. You know, I want a successful company. I have goals and things I want to accomplish. But if it's not truly helping people, then I don't see the point. And it warms my heart to see people look me straight in the eye and say thank you for making these teas.
Well, now that we have made everybody on Earth want to get a hold of your teas, how can they do that?
They can go to our website, which is teamotionstea.com. It's spelled TEAMOTIONSTEA, all one word, .com.
I was just enjoying a hot cup of tea over here. Sorry.
And I was trying to write all that down.
You know, who would think a show about tea is so much fun? But, you know, it just shows that when we slow down enough, you know, because I really think, like, I'm going to enjoy my next cup of tea. I'm going to actually have one after the show and read through my emails. And I have such a greater and deeper appreciation for it. And more importantly, I know now the importance of the ritual. I know the importance of the tea choice for my body, because I wrote this down. I love what you said, Rachel. You said it's what you do every day, to your body, that matters. You know, if we bake it in the sun, if we get to the gym, if we fill it with good foods, and we use our, nutraceuticals, or what was it called? The adaptogens, you know, things like that. And we make creative choices. Yeah, that stuff. I mean, that's just really cool. And I'm going to totally do that with my tea from now on. How about you, Jackie?
Totally. You know what? I'm actually going to get some Teamotions tea because, like I said, I don't want to be wolfing down 12 capsules of Ayurvedic adaptogens ever again.
It's Jackie and her horse pills live.
Well, and I
next
think
week.
really, yeah, I think the key is just to remember that the simple things really do matter. Like, sometimes we just overcomplicate the process. A simple cup of tea can do more for your well-being than some of the complicated things we're chasing out there.
Oh, you know, Rachel, I want to thank you for your time today. I want to thank you for creating a product that is so aware, that is so simple and so beautiful in its execution, that goes back ages and ages and ages and reminds us all to take a breath, to take a step back. I want to also thank you, Jackie, for being my super fun co-host today. You're a ball.
Well, thank you. I'm happy to come back anytime.
Well, next week we are going to have a mystery guest, and the mystery guest is going to talk about beauty, and you guys are not going to want to miss this because it's going to be another super fun week. We're going to have a great time. We're going to learn how to take care of our bodies, our minds, our spirits. The guest today, Rachel Crawford, thank you. Teamotions, check it out, buy the tea, have a cup, and hang out with your girlfriends, even if it's on Skype and online. Have a great week.
Bye.
We're so glad you joined us for Powered Up with Beck and Franklin. Sandra Beck, Los Angeles-based single mother and technology company owner, knows what it's like to be fit, funny, and fantastic in your 40s. Linda Franklin, a New Yorker with a successful marriage